Hello, everybody. YouTubers. I'm so sorry I disappeared for a few days. It's because, as I told you, I have COVID. No problem. Before the exam comes and before the new course starts, God has given me all my diseases and everything. Hopefully, He will keep me healthy from now. So, I am back. Guys, today is the last lecture of our crash course, which is a brief lecture on research methods. And many of you have told me, please give us detailed videos on MLA citation. So after this course, I want to start a series of videos, 3-4 videos at least, on each aspect of MLA citation. I will teach the MLA handbook citation in detail. What do you say? That will help all of you. So that is my new plan. Okay, guys? And there will also be model tests. Tomorrow also there will be a model test. And as some of you were telling me, every 2-3 days, I'll give you a model test. Model test series will be there in YouTube for all of you, and I will do series of MLA citation also. Okay, that would be enough for you, I think. I will also think of other areas that are missing and probably deal with that also. Okay, guys. So today I'm going to share my presentation on Unit 10, Research Methods. Ready, everyone? I have muted Zoomers in case there is any disturbance. Okay, guys? Research methods in English. As usual, I will only give you an overview of all the important topics in this crash course. Do extra reading and research based on what I tell you. Okay? And for our paid course students, detailed lecture I will give in 2-3 days. And for all of you in YouTube, there will be citation videos soon, coming up soon. So first and foremost, when you talk about research methods, even before types of research, they can ask you about what is research. Wherever you look at research methods material, this is how it starts. What is research? So which of the following is the correct definition of research? That kind of question can come. Remember to read up on it. Research is a systematic investigation. Research should be systematic. There should be questions. There should be a methodology. There should be an investigation of some existing problem. And you should be using some materials to study. And then you will be reaching conclusions, establishing facts, getting answers. So they will give all these as options. Which of the following is the correct combination of the various aspects of research? Which of the following is not associated with the definition of what is research? Like that, a basic question can come. If you read a little extra, look at all the keywords, you will be able to understand all the important aspects of research. Okay? And the next important thing in research methods is types of research. Now, guys, remember, there are 2 topics. One is paper 1 research, aptitude. That is not what I am dealing with. There is the second, research methods in English. When you talk about research aptitude for paper 1, there you have to talk a lot about quantitative and qualitative research methods, variables, sampling. All that is not so important in research methods in English. Okay, so today I'm not going into that. That is actually another area altogether, dealing with other humanities and in English literature and language studies. All these are not so important, even though in language studies, you can do quantitative research with variables and sampling. Okay, so today I'm not going into it. Second topic here is types of research. As all of you know, there are so many kinds of research that we come across in the internet. When we talk about types of research, when we do research on research, you will come across so many terms like applied research, descriptive research, quantitative and qualitative research. Now, what are these terms? When you start research, what do? You look for a topic, isn't it? You look for an area, topic, and is there any unworked on area, any area that nobody has worked on? When you think like that, what are you doing? You are doing exploratory research. You're exploring an area, getting information about a topic, about a subject. That is exploratory research. At that stage, you are identifying problems. Are you able to understand, everybody? And in order to do research in any area, you have to do exploratory research. After that, there is descriptive research. When you actually do research, when you are doing research, what you're doing is descriptive research. You're describing the problem. You are identifying the different aspects of the problem. And then after that, when you are in the stage of writing your dissertation, you are doing explanatory research. Explanatory research is when you want to know why something is happening. You are explaining all the aspects that you have described. All the aspects that you have noticed and observed, you are explaining. You are looking at the why of it. That is the highest kind of research. It is the explanatory research. It comes after exploratory and descriptive research. Did you understand? Then there is basic and applied research. When you do English studies, you do all these things. Basic research is not about finding solutions to any problem. Basic research is more theoretical, it is more fundamental, it is more pure research. Whereas applied research is more about finding solutions to problems. Applied research is about real life situations also. When we do English literature studies, research in English literature, we are most of the time doing basic research. Applied research will be in language studies only. How to teach better English to undergraduate students. That would be applied research. You are actually trying to solve a problem there in applied research. In science, applied research is there a lot. For example, COVID has come. What are the best vaccinations for COVID? How people should resist COVID? That was there. That research was there in the first year a lot. As soon as COVID came, everybody was doing research on that only. That is applied research. It is more, it is not done by, usually applied research is not done by individuals. Applied research is done by institutions. There will be funding. There will be a team of people doing it. You're able to follow, guys? And then there is qualitative and quantitative research. What is qualitative research? Qualitative research is about understanding deeply an issue. Quantitative research is about the numbers, the quantity, the statistics. Okay, in English departments, again, we do more qualitative research. Quantitative research is done usually in the context of library science, language studies, or classroom studies, pedagogical studies, classroom or pedagogical studies, library science, all these approaches, all these disciplines will make use of quantitative research methods. You're following me, everybody? In lexicography also, you can do quantitative research. So such questions can also come. They will give assertion, reason, or statement, true or false, and say, quantitative research is done more in the context of dialects, dialectology, lexicography, studying reading speed. True or false? Like that, you can get questions. Did you understand, guys? Quantitative research is usually employing methods like sampling. Different kinds of sampling is there. Probability sampling, quota sampling, all these things, I'm not going into that now because that usually comes under paper 1 research aptitude. And then in quantitative research, you can also do interviews, surveys. But guys, the best kind of research is mixed approach, mixed hybrid approach, where quantitative and qualitative research methods both can be employed. YouTubers and Zoomers, are you all paying attention? I am going blah, 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 blah. I hope you are following. Okay, then we have primary and secondary research. Will you please read extra on all these terms? Read extra on all these terms, because without your original reading, research methods can be pretty confusing. If you just do questions, it can be very confusing. Okay? In order to understand deeply, you have to read. If some lecture you listen to, if you do a lot of questions, that is not enough. Because there are so many ways in which everything can be explained. So every day from now on, if you do Google search and read extra, then you can find out more about this and you will remember. Will you remember this, guys? Now, primary and secondary research. Okay, YouTubers and Zoomers, because my eyes have a little too much strain and I can't read too much because it gives me headache when I concentrate. I'm not looking at your chat messages. If you are saying any important things, I may not be able to read it today, okay? Now, primary research is what? It is based on primary sources. Of course, that is the most basic kind of research. You do research on primary sources. But there is also something called secondary research. We don't do it very much in our departments. Secondary research is research based on secondary sources. For example, guys, usually in English departments, we do research on primary sources. Why don't you do research on books that help students to study literature? Why can't you study or do research on study materials on English literature? For example, that is a completely unworked on area. That is secondary research. Did you understand how study materials and books on English literature? I'm not talking about literary works. I'm talking about literary histories, for example. How literary histories are changing from the 19th century to the present. What are the approaches in literary history? Take literary histories in 2019, published in 2019, literary history published in 1980s, literary history published in 1950s, and before that, early 20th century. How all these have differed. That will be an amazing study, actually, isn't it? So these are all different kinds of research. Please read extra. You can't find excuses. In these last few days, every day, at least for half an hour, do extra reading on research. Then research methods are there. What do you mean by research methods? The methodology that you use to do research. When you study research methods, you talk about scientific method. When you say scientific, we already know that this method will be objective. Scientific method claims to be objective, and scientific method will be based on observing certain things, asking questions. Look at the picture I have given. You observe a phenomena. For example, children or students in rural schools, have less vocabulary, but they speak English, even though it is wrong, easily. Whereas students in urban schools, they have better vocabulary, but they are shy to speak English. Something like that you are finding out, observing. And then you ask a question, why is it like that? Then you form a hypothesis. Then you collect data. What is a hypothesis, guys? Hypothesis is a testable explanation. You are explaining this phenomenon that you have seen, and you are just thinking that it will be like this, and you are going to test it, isn't it? And then you collect data, you test your prediction, analyze the results, finally draw conclusions. This is the objective method. This scientific method of research started from Francis Bacon. Okay, guys? And then there is the normative method. Normative method is prescribing a norm. Normative method means prescribing a norm. It is usually done in sociological studies. For example, COVID is spreading. In normative method of research, they will prescribe, okay, to stop COVID, 1, everybody should stay indoors. 2, everybody should wear mask. 3, everybody should close their windows. Things like that they will say. And then these norms they will test. Did you understand? Sometimes these norms will change. After some days, they will say, no need to wear masks. Only close your windows. After that, they will say, no need to wear mask. Only drink lots of water. Like that. The norms that they are prescribing will change. That is normative method. And in normative method of research, for example, in language, etc., it has led to big developments. The International Phonetic Alphabet came into being as a method of normative method of research. They prescribed some norms. Okay, this is how to pronounce. These are the notations that you should use. Are you following me? And these normative research methods led to, who is recording the session? Why are you recording? Is it an accident? And these normative methods of research will lead to big developments like the formation of the IPA or the International Phonetic Alphabet. Okay, then there is the experimental method. For example, in botany, in genetics, how did you find, how did Gregor Mendel find that short P plus long P will become this kind of P, new kind of P? How did he develop all that? By experimenting. He experimented with short P and long P. The pea plants, that is how Gregor Mendel developed genetics, isn't it? So experimental method is very common in science. In science, experimental method is common. And in experimental method, variables are taken. Short P and long P are variables. And the researcher will control some of the variables. Some of the variables will remain constant. Like that, various methods they will use in experimental method. Are you following me, guys? Historical method is not used in science. Historical method is usually used in humanities only. And it can be there in all humanities. What is historical method? Learning about something by looking at the past. Learning about something by looking at the past. That is called historical method. How the past shaped the present. So when you do a historical study, you have to look at who is the author of this history. From whose perspective is this history written, and what are the dates and what are the origins of the text. Did you understand? How did this genre develop? Such questions are important in historical method. Related is archival method. Archival method means what? Archival method means you are looking at the archival data, archival history. That means not the printed books, but manuscripts, oral records, visual materials. All these are part of archives. National Archives is there in India, isn't it? They will expect you to know all the institutes associated with all this also. For example, where is National Archive Museum in India? Film archives, where is it? Questions like that can be asked because they are also related to research. They can ask you about major libraries in India, major research institutes in India. Will you look up all that, guys? Major libraries, research institutes, they are all part of our research methods in English. Okay? Major libraries and research institute. Yes, sorry, for example, the Shimla Institute, they have already asked, I think. So please take a look at all these in internet today and tomorrow without fail. Okay? Right. Now, moving on a little bit. I'm feeling a little tired. Research design is also important. How do you design research? When you start research, what all do? You attend seminars and workshops. You will discuss with experts and specialists, isn't it? You will find out an area. You will go through dissertations, books, etc., journals, etc., related to that area. And then what do? You will identify the area and also the research problem. Then you will devise research questions, draft a research proposal. First, you have to do a research proposal. After that, you have to finalize the title and start the research. And finally, you have to write the dissertation. These are the steps in designing a research project. They will ask you about each of these steps. How to write research questions, how to write hypothesis, which is the correct order, how to write a research proposal, what are the parts of a research proposal. When you do all these things, when you design a research, you should have neutrality. That is very, very important. You should not be subjective. In research, some people, some theorists talked about subjectivity also. Subjective approach is there in theory and research. In Frankfurt School believed in giving a subjective treatment to research. Frankfurt School developed critical theory. What is the meaning of critical theory? Critical theory means the researcher's subjective experience is important. The researcher's subjectivity is important. Did you understand, guys? Right. So critical theory is not only about objective analysis, it is also about subjective approach. It is also about finding solutions rather than just talking about a problem, also finding solutions. And in research design, reliability is important. Reliability, dependability, validity, these are all terms. What do you mean by validity in research? They can ask. I am telling you again, in order to pass this exam, it is not enough to somebody lecturing. It is not enough to listen to somebody lecturing. You have to read on your own. Every point I have made here, you should read extra. What is reliability in research? What is validity in research? They might ask. Okay. And finally, from the given data, when you analyze, you should have the power of generalization. You know, when you study 50 samples, from that 50 samples, you should be able to generalize in such a way. You should have the tools or the mechanism of doing it in such a way so that you will understand what the society is like. Okay. 50 undergraduates are speaking in a certain way. That means according to your sampling. That means you should be able to generalize based on that, how all undergraduates behave. Clear, everyone? So research design is important. Read extra. Your own self-learning and research is very, very important. Mugging up some PPT is not enough. The kind of questions they ask are simple questions that you will be able to answer only if you read on your own. I am telling you the truth. I am not cheating you. I am telling you, if only you read on your own, you will pass. You should improve your language skills. You should improve your vocabulary, academic vocabulary, and you should get a lot of original first-hand knowledge by reading. Easily you will get. Reading is not difficult. What kind of reading, what kind of understanding you get from reading is enough to guess in the exam. Correct answers. Now, a very easy aspect of research is qualities of a good researcher. Look at what I found. A good researcher is curious. A good researcher will ask questions. A good researcher will read, and read. I told you, read, and read. That is what NTA wants you to do. So that you don't think of what kind of questions they will ask. You know, just read about all these points and stop and think about what you have read. Do not copy someone else's ideas when you do research. Put your own thoughts in your own words. So, a good researcher must be a good reader. A good researcher should be curious. A good researcher should have research curiosity, research temperament. And a good researcher should be self-motivated. Very intellectual approach. You should have an imagination. And then a good researcher should have a research aptitude, scientific aptitude. You should be objective. You should have good language skills. And also, you should have exposure from reading, from other people's research. You should have exposure. Okay? These are the qualities of a good researcher. If they ask you which of the following is not a quality of a good researcher, that will be a very easy question, isn't it, guys? Now, what is hypothesis? You know that in first, before I come to hypothesis, what are the steps in making a research proposal? Different steps in making a research proposal. First, you have to ask a question. And that question will become your research question. Okay, research question. Based on the research question, you should, first you should have a general question. Then you should convert it into a research question. Based on that, you should develop testable presumptions or hypothesis. And this hypothesis, you should be able to test with an experiment. And then, while you do this testing, you have to collect data. You have to define the methodology. Data and methodology will come together. And based on the hypothesis, you will arrive at a lot of conclusions. You have to test your hypothesis, analyze your results. Analyze your results, matlab, test your hypothesis. If the hypothesis is true, then your research is over. If your hypothesis is false, then you will have to go and rework your hypothesis. You have to redefine your hypothesis probably. And also, finally, you have to report your results. What do you mean by report your results? That means write the dissertation. Report your results means write the dissertation. In the dissertation, what do? You write the literature review. You have to present what you have read. And then you have to analyze all your data. Finally, present your results. Are you getting me, guys? Right. So the next thing is the research proposal itself. what are the different aspects of a research proposal. First, you need a title. The first thing you need is a title, isn't it? Find a unique title. That is very important. Then you have to write about the background in the proposal. You have to write about the background. You have to explain the title. What are you writing about? What is this title about? You have to explain the background. Give the background to the topic, background to the author, background to the genre. And then you have to present your research questions. What are your research questions? Okay, 1, 2, 3. These are the research questions that I am addressing. Research question also can be followed by hypothesis, as I already said. After that, you have to present your methods, methodology. How are you going to study the data? You have to present. Methodology of research you have to show. That means what theories you will use, how you will study, will you do discourse analysis, how will you proceed to read the text, in what way will you compare and contrast, isn't it? And then you have to present sometimes a working plan, stages of your research or chapter division, etc. And finally, you have to give a bibliography or works cited. What are the different works that you have cited in your research proposal? You have to present. Okay, every university will have a different requirement for research proposal. Some universities will need a small research proposal and want you to talk about it more in the interview. Some universities will need a big research proposal. So you have to organize your research proposal, right, according to the requirements of the university, according to the guidance of your research supervisor, according to MLA handbook guidelines. Right, guys? Now, let me, tell you once again, some of you may not have heard, after this crash course, I am going to start a few days classes on MLA citations. My student, Manmohan Sahu, is the one who today, this morning, said, after this, I have to start on MLA citations. And then I thought, yes, I have to teach them, little by little, all the various aspects of citation. So I will do that after a few days. Also, we will be doing what? Model tests in the coming days in YouTube. Okay, right. So did you understand about research proposal? And then there may be questions on research thesis. How to write a thesis? First, you have to give an introduction. I made this picture. Did you like it? I asked, did you like that? Now, there is an introduction that you should write in research thesis first, then literature review, then data and methodology. You have to present your data, you have to present your methodology, and then analyze results. What are the results you should analyze? That will be the conclusion. Isn't it, guys? So these are the various ways in which you write a research thesis. I'm feeling very tired because of my COVID. And my eyes are also not functioning. It's nothing to worry. It is only because I had so much headache and I need to take rest in between. If I go a little slow, everything is fine. But from morning till evening, in between, I'm resting, but I'm doing a lot of work. All this work I'm doing, editing encyclopedia, 2 volumes of American literature, encyclopedia is there now, 2nd volume editing is going on, 1st volume completed. And then I want to bring out EC handbooks. I told you now, EC handbook work is going on, so much is going on. And also all your materials for this exam. Now, recent fields of research. There are so many new approaches in research coming up, guys. One is comparative literature. Comparative literature is a very important area. There are people who do MA in comparative literature also. There is Jadavpur University in India, in Bengal, which is the first major institute of comparative research, comparative literature research, that is. Shishir Kumar Das, so many pioneers emerged from Jadavpur University. Dr. Shishir Kumar Das, have you heard? So who of the following is not a major pioneer of comparative literature? Who of the following are pioneers of comparative literature in India? They can ask such questions. Okay, will you please read extra? Find out, okay, important figures in comparative literature they can ask, because that is related to research. Are you following me? And when they ask in the exam like this, basic questions, don't say, exam was so difficult, I could not answer. It is because you don't do basic reading. That is the truth. Did you understand? Don't blame anybody. I'm telling you now, read extra, and then you will get all the answers correct. So comparative literature is a very important discipline related to contemporary research. And that there you will get questions from. Important books in comparative research, comparative literature research, important pioneers in India, etc. Okay, then interdisciplinary studies. Interdisciplinary studies means different subjects studied together. English and philosophy, English literature and psychology, history and economics, sociology and geography. So many humanities can be studied in an interdisciplinary manner. So based on interdisciplinary research also, they can ask you questions. Which of the following theories comes under interdisciplinary studies, for example? Which of the following theories, I said? Space research, then subaltern studies, both are interdisciplinary. Space is geography plus culture. Then subaltern studies is sociology plus narratology or literature or history. So like that, which are the areas that are truly interdisciplinary, they can ask. Okay, you have to have a deep understanding. Interdisciplinarity and research. Interdisciplinarity in English literature. Interdisciplinary studies, Indian universities, like that, Google search karo. Okay, then you will get a lot of general knowledge. Okay, right. Then there is diasporic studies. You know, diasporic studies is also a very important area. Are you taking down all the important things, guys? YouTubers and Zoomers? Diasporic studies is related to multiculturalism, nostalgia, homelessness, assimilation, hybridity, exile. All these theories and important aspects come under diasporic studies. They can ask you that also. Then there are so many new theories and research projects going on in reader response studies. You know, studying the response of readers in relation to socio-cultural developments, literature, etc. Not only literature, even in other ways, reader response can become important. For example, in business studies, you know, how when you do marketing, when you publish an advertisement, how do the readers respond to it? You know, reader response is an important part of cultural studies. That is why Roman Jacobson talked about communication model, Stuart Hall talked about it, circuit of culture. All these are related to reception aesthetics and reader response. Are you able to understand? Reader response is related to reception aesthetics, how people receive culture, how people receive texts. And it is related to reader response research, business studies, media studies. Getting me, guys? And then there is another studies where you can do research on if you want. It is influence studies. You know, today, everybody wants to be an influencer. There is something called influence studies. How do you influence other people? What is the basic reason why people like certain texts, certain videos, certain products, and not others? Influence studies. Please Google search. You may be able to write research papers, blogs, and even books, or do PhD on influence studies. It is very exciting. Okay? And then comes ethnography. Ethnography means the researcher has to go and live with a certain community, study that community. It can be tribals, it can be trans people, transgender people, it can be refugees. So ethnography is done when the researcher becomes part of that community. The researcher will go and live in that community. But guys, listen, but there is also digital ethnography. Digital ethnography, anybody can do from home. You become part of a community online. Digital ethnography is a very upcoming field. Have you heard of that? In ethnography, you have an interdisciplinary approach. Anthropology, sociology, language studies, narratology, all these are combined in ethnographic studies. Ethnography is a very important area of research related to cultural studies. Questions can come based on all these. Did you understand, guys? These are all very, very important areas of research. Now, I'm going to bring out easy handbook on research methods, okay? I will try to cover all your problems there. So once again, yeah. Next important thing in research is citation. What is citation? What are the important ways of citing a text? This is the manuscript for research easy handbook. Easy handbook का material सब बन गया जब just editing. APA citation is there. APA means American Psychological Association. Okay. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, from next week onwards, when I do citation course, citation in research, there I will talk about APA and Chicago and focus on MLA. Okay. So today I'm not going into all the details. This is only an introductory course. Right. New students, ghabrao mat, don't be scared. We will cover everything in your class. Now, there are different kinds of citation. APA uses only in-text citation. How to do it is very important. APA is a popular method in the social sciences. And it originated in 1929. Okay? And it gives importance to in-text citation. I will explain all that in the coming classes. Next important thing you should look up is Chicago citation. Chicago is also called Turabian style, T-U-R-A-B-I-A-N. And Chicago Manual of Style, it is called. Chicago Manual of Style. Okay, and like MLA, Chicago style also has methods of citation. I will teach you all that. There are so many things that each of these citations follow. And then we have our MLA citation. MLA is the important citation for English literature students. Modern Language Association. Guess what? Free course on MLA citation coming up. Okay, will you attend that course? MLA handbook. is providing guidelines for researchers of language and literature. And in MLA now, there is one standard format for all source types. That is the most important thing today. Okay, and how to cite books, how to study, cite journals, how to cite newspapers and blogs and Twitter and advertisements, films, everything is given in detail there, which I will go over in the course of the coming 1 week. Okay, guys. And then very important area in research is research ethics. What is research ethics? The responsible conduct for research. That is called ethics. You know, how to do research is related to moral and ethical issues also. You should have autonomy. That means independence, beneficence, honesty, privacy, values, confidentiality, dignity, justice, regulations. So many things are there. One important thing about research ethics is you should not plagiarize. You should not copy from other people. How to avoid plagiarism. So the research ethics is very important in Western universities especially, and today it is becoming more and more important in Indian universities also. So you should have, once again, honesty, objectivity, integrity. You should be responsible, careful. You should have respect. You should not be prejudiced, and so on and so forth. That is the important aspects of research methods, research ethics. There are so many other terms in research, other terms and concepts. Shall I tell you a few important terms and concepts, guys? What is cohort study, for example? Everybody must have heard of this. Cohort study is a kind of longitudinal study where you sample a cohort group. Cohort group means a group of people who share defining characteristics. You identify a cohort, C-O-H-O-R-T, cohort group, and then work with cohort group. That is cohort study. Now, two other terms all of you know related to research is inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. Don't you know inductive and deductive? Those are two other terms. Today itself, you should look up research terms, okay? Glossary of research, research terms, research concepts like that. If you search, you will get a lot of things online. So inductive is from specific to the general. Deductive is from general to the particular. General to the specific. Okay. Now, what is the difference between a conference, a seminar, a workshop? All these things you should look up because they might ask you in assertion, reason, statements, true or false questions, etc., to identify all this. A workshop is a such and such. A seminar is a such and such. A conference is a such and such. A symposium is dash such and such. Which of the following is true? A and B, B and C, C and D, like that. They can ask. Okay. Then what is a trend study? What is action research? Action research was a term coined in 1944. Did you know that? It is about researching and solving a certain problem. You take up a problem and solve it using your research. That is called action research. What do you mean by factorial design in research? What do you mean by cross-sectional study? So many terms like that we have identified. So What do you mean by correlation? Positive correlation. So if you take a look at these terms, it would be great. You will be able to get ready for the upcoming exam. I'm feeling really, really tired. And somehow I have introduced a lot of these ideas to you. I hope it was beneficial for you. And we will have, as usual, a 1-minute break. And you can just tell me how you feel and, just relax a little bit. And then we will do our question answer session or rapid fire. Bridget, are you there? Yes. I will just, guys, I am making Bridget the co-host. Please, you can switch on your mic, Bridget.
Yes. Am I audible now?
Thank you so much. Everybody is, my problem is I forgot to bring water. There is no water. Little bit is there.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Thoda sa chakkar, that's all. It's because of continuous speaking. After COVID, I got COVID, I never spoke this much. Okay. Okay, Bridget, are you ready? Thank you. Speak, Bridget. Let us. I didn't hear you.
I'm just asking, am I audible or not?
Yes, yes. I'm so sorry. I had reduced the sound.
No.
Okay. So, how are you, Bridget?
Yeah, I'm good, ma'am, and hope you are also doing well.
Yes, yes. You are a researcher yourself. There will be lots of challenges that come to us in research, and once you study about research like this, you will become an even better researcher, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yes.
I think research is an evolving process that each day is learning, a new learning will come, and as ma'am says, we will transform and update our knowledge and methodology. Even methodology will change. Even in my course, as far as I was concerned, I changed my methodology from experimental method to secondary observation. So there are many chances to change and update our methodology by learning day by day. So research will be an amazing experience for all of us. We are learning many things, even the personality, the attitude, even ourselves, the researching. So research is absolutely amazing, and you will learn more things about it. For that, reading will help you, in many ways, and travel and everything. So I think teachers and ma'am can give you the correct path.
Yes.
To better research.
Bridget, there is a little echo. Can you just lift your speaker and speak into the speaker?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Should I
Don't
repeat
touch
it?
Just
No.
keep it a little away from your mouth, then you will be audible. Now speak, Bridget.
Am I audible? Is it clear, ma'am? Right
Yeah,
now?
it is clear now.
Okay.
Hold it like that.
Okay, I'm just saying about how
We heard actually.
Okay.
But it was stressful to understand.
Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry, ma'am.
Okay. Now we will share the PPT. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
1 minute. Give me a minute. Yes, guys. So these are questions on research methods. Okay.
The first question is, so let's start. Who is the author of Archival that discusses the nature and function of the archive, particularly in Freudian terms and in light of the death drive? Options: Edmund Husserl, Jacques Derrida, Roland Barthes. I think all are famous names. Let's have the answers. Sorry,
Archive
answers.
fever.
Yes. Archive fever.
And the answer is?
Is none other than Derrida, Jacques Derrida.
Wow, Jacques Derrida has written Archive Fever. Please look up all the important works of Derrida. Next, please.
Question. Which term is used to refer to an accumulation of historical records or materials in any medium or the physical facility in which they are located? Archive, discourse, entrepot. Archive, discourse, entrepot.
Accumulation of historical records or materials, or the physical facility in which they are located. I think that is easy. The answer is?
Yes. It's archive. We are getting correct answers. Very good. Question: which among the following is a collection and study of historical information about individuals, families, important events, or everyday life using audio tapes, video tapes, or transcriptions of planned interviews? Answers. The options: archival method, oral history, discourse analysis. Oral history, archival method, discourse analysis.
Collection and study of historical information about individuals, families, etc. The answer is?
It's oral history. Let's move on to the next question. Which is a qualitative research methodology that relies on artistic medium, including film, photography, drawings, painting, and sculptures, to produce and represent knowledge? Options: discourse analysis, visual methodology, ethnographic methods. Whether discourse analysis or visual methodology or ethnographic methods.
Qualitative research methodology that relies on artistic medium. The answer is?
We have the answer: visual methodology. Option B. We are getting many correct answers in YouTube also. I'm checking YouTube. Very good. Question: which research method is used for studying written or spoken language in relation to its social context and aims to understand how language is used in real life situations? Options: A, textual analysis, B, discourse analysis, C, social history. Textual analysis. Yes,
I was going to read the question. The research method used for studying written or spoken language in relation to social context. That is easy, I guess. The answer is?
Discourse analysis. Next question, please. What is a qualitative method used in community-based participatory research to document and reflect reality? Photo voice, visual ethics, anodization.
Have you heard of anodization, guys? Photo voice, community-based participatory research to reflect reality. The answer is?
The answer is photo voice.
Please do read extra about it.
Yes. And we have the next question. Who is a key advocate of the new wave of oral history and also the author of The Voice of the Past, published in 1978? The Voice of the Past. Options: Ronald Ritchie, Paul Thompson, Elizabeth Roberts. Published in 1978, The Voice of the Past.
The answer is?
We have the answer, Paul Thompson. Next question, please, ma'am. Which among the following statements is not true about discourse analysis? Not true. Options. It aims at revealing socio-psychological characteristics of a person or persons. It is a common qualitative research method in many humanities and social science disciplines. C. It is concerned only with the investigation of written language. Not a true statement about discourse analysis. So you have to know about what is discourse analysis.
Let us look at the answer.
Yes. The answer is option C. It is concerned only with the investigation of written language.
That is wrong. It is not only about written language.
Yes.
It is about a society also.
Question. Which work subtitled The Poetics and Politics of Ethnography and edited by James Clifford and George E. Marcus represents a watershed in understanding the practice of ethnography? Options. A. Writing culture. B. Cultural anthropology. C. The communication of ideas. Subtitle The Poetics and the Politics of Ethnography. Answer is writing culture. Next question. Who has stated that the literary fascination with archives and archivists as a function of modern memory in La Memoire Suture, 2003? Regine Robert, Rio Saramago, Ismail Kathare. Is it Regine Robert, Rio Saramago, or Ismail Kathare?
Do you know the answer?
It is Regine Robert.
I'm not explaining all this because I'm feeling a little dizzy. Please read extra, everybody. Just take a look at it for at least a few minutes. You read about it. Okay?
Yes. And please do it as a homework.
Yes, homework.
Question. Which research methodology enables the study of subjective constructions of the self and others through spoken narratives? Options. A. Oral history. B. Visual methodology. C. Ethnographic method. Which research methodology enables the study of the subjective constructions of the self and others through spoken narratives? The answer is, I think it's very easy, oral history. Next question. Which among the following is a broad term for various research methods used to describe, interpret, and understand text? Options. Descriptive method, word study, textual analysis. Which is a broad term. The broad term is textual analysis. Next question. Which qualitative research strategy relies primarily on participant observation and concerns itself in its most general sense with the study and interpretation of cultural behavior? Options. Ethnographic methods. B. Interpretive methods. C. Behavioral analysis. Someone answers, please. The answer is ethnographic methods. Next question. Which method concerns the computer-aided storage, retrieval, interrogation, and analysis of text and are generally found at the interface between literature studies and linguistics? Options. Internet analysis, browsing method, computational methods. Option A, internet analysis. B, browsing method. C, computational methods. And we have the answer, computational methods. Question, who is the author of Doing Oral History, a definitive step-by-step guide that provides advice and explanations on how to create recordings that illuminate human experience for generations to come? Options A, Martha Cooley, B, Donald Ritchie, C, Rose Saramago. And the answer
Doing
is
Oral History.
yes.
Famous book it is.
It is Donald Ritchie. Donald A. Ritchie. Next question. Observing a group of children playing or observing an indigenous village is an example of dash. Option A, archival research. B, statistical analysis. C, ethnographic method. I think ma'am already explained it. Ethnographic method. Next question. Rhetorical criticism, content analysis, interaction analysis, and performance studies are the four major approaches in dash. Option A, discourse analysis. B, textual analysis. C, oral history. And our answer is textual analysis. Don't worry about wrong answers. Just homework it, Google it. Next question. Which method helps researchers uncover the motivation behind a text by allowing them to view a problem from a higher stance? Option A, visual methodology. Option B, discourse analysis. And C, archival research. We already discussed it. And we have the answer, discourse analysis. And the question, next question. Which among the following statements is not true about ethnographic method of research? Not true. Option A, it uses qualitative and quantitative data. Option B, it includes a brief history and an analysis of the terrain, the climate, and the habitat. Option C, it is the most inexpensive research method. Use your common sense and you'll get an answer. Yes, it is the most inexpensive research method. And
that is not true. Yeah.
Which among the following is a useful research method for investigating ideological dispositions evident in text? Options A, discourse analysis. B, archival research. C, descriptive method. And the correct answer is discourse analysis. And guys, please do be very careful about, coursework exams. If you are preparing for your coursework exam or PhD entrance, including, NET and all entrance exams, research methodology and doing research is very important, and be very careful about the questions.
Thank you so much. That was a lot of questions. Please watch the video again if you did not follow everything. Thank you, Prijit. Thank you, each and every one of you. Sorry, I couldn't explain as much as usual.
But
every day.
They have to do it as a homework or self-work, man, so that they can learn. As research, research is an self-work, self-learn. So they have to do it.
At least the module on research, they have to do research and study. Yes.
We can show the path they have to travel.
Correct. So thank you, everybody. I am sure every day I will be able to do better and better. I'll have more energy, God willing. So I will be back tomorrow. We will be back tomorrow with what? With the model test. So get ready for that. And we will do everything as planned. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Good night. Please join us at 9:45 p.m. today in Telegram group for the poll. The topic of poll, Telegram group poll is Sahitya Academy Awards. Thank you.